Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Friday 15 podcast. So what is a Friday 15, you ask? Well, every Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time, we go ahead and we take 15 minutes to answer your questions about the travel industry that you've taken time to submit on our website. So if you do have any questions or you would like to submit, watch past episodes, please go to hostagencyreviews.com/Friday15. So that's hostagencyreviews.com/Friday15. We also bring many special guests from our host partners, and it's such a fun way for us to end the week. So with that said, I am very excited to introduce our co-host for the week, Fora Travel, co-founder Henley. And congratulations on your expansion into Canada. I had a great time personally at your welcome party in Canada. Just before I went to watch my team, the Maple Leafs, go win their hockey game. I'm Canadian, so of course I love hockey. So it was a great night all around, really.
It was a big night. Big night for everybody.
It was a fantastic night. We are so excited to have you here for our Friday 15 to answer a couple really great questions from our audience. If you want to give us a very quick spiel on Fora, and then we'll jump right into the questions.
Sure. Thanks so much for having me, Shayna. It was great to see you up in Toronto and great to see you on the screen again. Happy Friday, everybody. I am the co-founder of Fora. We are the modern travel agency. So we launched about 3.5 years ago. And as Shayna said, have just expanded into Canada as well, with really the goal of building a tech-forward platform for travel entrepreneurs to build a business, big or small, that is powered by a wonderful community.
Oh, fantastic. So this is perfect. We've got a couple really great questions for you to end off this week. So jump into the first one. So this is about naming your travel agency, which is always a really big question for everyone. And I'm really glad. Thank you, Scott, for submitting this. So the name he wanted to move forward with was Be Prepared Vacations. So a nod to Disney, a nod to the Lion King. And he spoke with a trademark attorney and said that unfortunately the word Be Prepared could not be trademarked as his agency name because the Boy Scouts already have Be Prepared trademarked. So this lawyer said he could use the name, but he couldn't trademark his travel agency name. And he really liked the name. He went through hundreds of ideas, URLs, socials. It's all available, this Be Prepared Vacations, because he's going to be focusing on Disney. So if you can't get your agency name trademarked, is that an absolute no-no for you? Or is it just a nice thing to be able to do?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I do think Be Prepared really is the goal of using a travel advisor. So good one, even as the non-Disney reference. Okay, so choosing a business name. That is a really big part of getting your business started. I always say it's like harder than choosing a band name. You know, what's your album cover going to be? And I think, let's go back to Fora. So our advisors are using different brand names. The way that our platform has been built, advisors have the ability to upload their brand so that your confirmations for hotel bookings, your invoices, all of that is going to feature your brand name so you can really white label it. So we do support that. We wouldn't support something that infringed on somebody else's trademark, of course, but there's no requirement that what you choose as your business name be trademarked. And I would guess that most people are that way. Now, for early stage advisors, I generally say, don't get too focused on what are you going to call your brand? What's your URL? Because you really just want to get out there and actually start telling people, I'm in the business of travel planning. Please book a trip with me. But as you think about it, it sounds like Scott has, I think most people are going to tell you, go forward with what works as long as you're not infringing on somebody else's trademark. The one thing I will say about us specific to Fora, which may be different from others, is all of our advisors have a profile, a dedicated profile page where they can upload itineraries or guides, things that kind of show what you know in terms of your travel expertise. Those have to have your personal name on it. But then with your branding, if you have a separate website or again on your invoices and sort of your custom branding that you can upload into our platform, that can be called what you want.
I love that. We actually have an article that we'll link in the comments about 6 tips for choosing travel agency names that might be really helpful for you all, because I know sometimes we can get that decision paralysis. And so it's six very simple, like things to consider. We actually also have a worksheet that you can download for free that gives you a checklist of things to consider. So definitely will be helpful. I completely agree with you, Henley, to not get caught up in it. Scott, I think it's been really smart that you've been searching and you don't see that name anywhere, because I do typically see with names, when I hear of an advisor's or an agency's name, that I'm like, I search that and so many different things come up and you get lost in the fold because there's so many incredible words, but a lot of travel agencies will use the same ones. So I think that was really smart. Our second tip in the article actually goes into trademark infringement. And we do link to the trademark electronic search system, Scott. So if you do want to check that out, just to be sure. We do say to think about choosing a different name, but at the end of the day, that is completely up to you. Of course, you will not be able to trademark your Be Prepared vacations, but we just give you things to consider. But if you love that name, yeah, I agree with Henley, consider moving forward with that. We also have another actually Friday 15 podcast that will link as well, that talks about the differences between trademarking, copyright infringement. So it focuses really specifically on that. But I think, Henley, for me, you hit the nail on the head for sure with this. So
good luck, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Scott, too, I just want to put out there, I think it's great that you know what your niche is and what you want to focus on in terms of what you want to sell. So congrats to you, and can't wait to see how your agency fares. All right, you ready for the next question?
I'm ready.
All right. So this one is fun. I would like to specialize in multi-gen travel, but it seems this niche is still new. And Melissa, it's not new. I wouldn't say that, but it's not listed on several different sites. Is there a host agency better than others when looking at family travel or multi-gen travel? Is there a better consortia? So beyond the niche of multi-gen, you want to work with theme parks, all-inclusives, cruises, FITs. She said she knows that sounds broad, which it doesn't really sound too broad. But what advice would you give Melissa around looking for a host or a consortia that focuses specifically on multi-gen?
Yeah. So Melissa, multi-gen is a great area to focus. As Shayna said, not new, but it is quite broad. And so being broad is a good idea, because when you're talking about multi-gen families, they have different things. So sometimes they want to go on a cruise. A different family might really be looking for an all-inclusive. A different family I did a 20-person multi-gen safari for 2 weeks recently. So multi-gens really are thinking about what is suited for their travel tastes and their travel budget. What does that mean in terms of choosing a host agency? You want to find one that supports as broad a realm of what you think your multi-gen travelers will be looking for. Because if they are only focused on ultra luxury, that might be hard if some of your multi-gens are looking for more all-inclusive or cruise. If they are cruise focused only, that's great for the cruisers, but you want to make sure that you have the partnerships in place with the hotel suppliers or the DMCs. So I think broad is the way to go. Think about what's your demographic in terms of your multi-gen travelers, and then find a host agency that has those connections with all of them. Because in my experience, multi-gen can mean a lot of different things, and you just want to make sure that you have support across that. And I've seen that with our own advisors, that they are working with, everything from a Carnival cruise to, an exclusive Italian DMC, and we need to be able to support them in all those ways. One other thing that's really important to think about with multi-gen is accessible travel, particularly when you're moving into sort of the older grandparents. They may have mobility impairment. And so one of the things that we've recently done is launched an accessible travel initiative where some of our advisors are leading trainings to talk about how do you plan trips? What are you looking for when you are planning for travelers with mobility needs? This is really, really key when you're thinking about everything from, maybe an 80-year-old down to a 2-year-old in a stroller, which also is a different kind of thing. And so finding some place that will also support that and help you think about what are the rooms that work, are there too many stairs there? And that's the kind of thing where, actually going back to Scott, be prepared is you want to make sure that you are preparing your multi-gen travelers and your multi-gen groups to go to the place that works as well for how they're physically getting around.
I think that's incredible. It's actually something that we talk about a lot in this industry, is this is I think, the first time ever that you have 5 generations traveling at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. So you have different accessibility issues when you've got boomers or a more mature generation, but then you also have the 2-year-old in the stroller. I know you launched I'm part of that network to understand more about accessible travel. And I love what you all have done. I think I emailed you right away after it because I was like, yes, thank you. I love this information. So I'm so appreciating that. And this question feeds right into it. I think you, again, hit the nail on the head with multi-gen, but there's so much that comes with multi-gen travel. Are your families looking at more luxury? Are they looking at mainstream? Are they looking at a bit more premium? Is it cruise? Is it tour? Is it FIT? What is it within that they're looking at? So Melissa, fantastic question. Also, I would always recommend, Melissa, speak to the hosts, right? You want to know more about how they support multi-gen travel or, getting into, as you said, theme parks, all-inclusives, cruises. Speak directly to the hosts, reach out to them to learn a little bit more. I guarantee there isn't one host that would not spend time to talk to you about what they specialize in to ensure that you're both the right fit for each other. Something I love about host agencies is they really all take the time. So do not hesitate to reach out. So yeah, we do have a few extra minutes. If you wouldn't mind me throwing in maybe.
Yeah, let's do another.
Yeah. Okay. So this is more, honestly, I come from the tour operator side. I worked in travel technology for the last few years. And I know Fora is really focused on technology and using technology to support the advisor. I'd love to understand a little bit more about that. Why is technology so important now for the travel advisor?
Yeah, so technology and the travel advisor, right? We should be going hand in hand, but traditionally, most agencies haven't invested in building new tech. It's expensive, it's difficult. I totally get it. But I think all of the things that we're talking about here, right? Like how you are thinking about multi-gen travel, how you are thinking about Disney and sort of branding, all of that is very human stuff. That is where we should be putting our focus. What I want to do is automate everything that can be automated so that our focus can be really there, which enables us to plan better trips and engage more travelers. So what are we doing? So we've built an integrated CRM that goes in with our booking platform so you can collect traveler information securely, save it, add the notes. When you go to book, you'll see all of the rates, not just some of them. To me, that's really important. The last thing I want is a traveler saying to me, oh, well, you didn't tell me about there's this rate on tablet or on Expedia that's actually cheaper than the one that you gave me. I can see them all in my system. I can quote and book quickly so I can move a little bit faster, which hopefully keeps my clients a little bit more loyal. And then other things that we're rolling out with AI. So having AI generated itineraries we're going to be launching soon, where the system will actually look at the various bookings that you've done, you've pulled them together, and it will generate an itinerary for you. I think anybody who's a travel advisor and has spent so much time cutting and pasting and trying to find the right image, we're going to be having that built into our system so that you can have that done quickly. Obviously, you'll be customizing it, adding in extra things, but something that's beautiful, that doesn't cost you extra money, because I also know like all of those different subscriptions we had to various different platforms, one for CRM, one for itinerary generation, something else for invoicing. If you can do that all in one place and do that all in an integrated way, you're going to be faster and better, which means your clients are going to come back to you more. You're not going to be slow and old school. But also means, again, you can put your energy into what we should be doing, which is this other stuff and can't be automated.
Yeah, that's exactly how I love that. That's exactly how I've always talked about technology is it should take the things off of your plate that you need to do. So collecting all the information about your clients, right? Being efficient, being effective, so that you have more time to do the things you really enjoy doing, which is building these beautiful itineraries for your clients, learning about more suppliers that are going to be great for your clients, procure it, like bringing in leads, new clientele, learning about them. So it takes the things that you need to do, but aren't necessarily the most fun part of the job, off of your plate, or automates as much of it as possible. So I love that. And
Well,
what a great way to end. Thank you for letting me toss in an extra
of course.
question.
No, and I'm glad that you mentioned training, because that is actually something too that doesn't sound very techified ever when you talk about it, but having it in the platform. So regardless of what time of day or night it is, if you need to learn about a difficult destination on a Saturday night, that you can go in, search, not only watch the training, but actually then have marketing assets that are already prepared for you, so you can show what you know. Again, that to me is it's the right way to take something very human, us sitting here talking about a place, teaching things, but actually give it to people in the way that they want it packaged up. And I hope that makes all of our advisors' jobs better and faster.
I absolutely love it. So speaking of Fora, if anyone here listening today is interested, we are going to, in the comments, we're going to link both their directory within Host Agency Reviews. We will also link you directly to Fora's website so that you can go check them out, learn more. Reach out if you have any questions for them directly. You can do that via our website, or you can do that via Fora directly. So we'll include both links in the comments for you. Coming up, we have an incredible lineup. Next week, we have Uniglobe co-hosting with us again on May 16th. Then we have Solstice Collective on May 23rd. We bring back Vacation Planners on May 30th. And then to start out June, we are bringing back Travel Industry Solutions on June 6th. So we have a full lineup for the next month. And Henley, thank you for starting us out, starting out May for us so beautifully. And thank you for being here, and can't wait to co-host with you again.
Thanks so much for having us. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.